So the first half of the morning, we will really talk about what I kind of like to call the golden period of when you extract information. So the best thing that you guys can do is gain information. Information is how you guys sell jobs, right? Who has the information that ultimately is going to determine of how sales is going to go? Who's got that information? The customer, right? So before you can really gather information, though, you have to understand like who is going to buy from you. So let's just kind of talk out loud. Write down just as concise as you can is like, why does a customer buy from Madewell? Like, why does someone buy from Madewell? We are selling to people that are making a decision. Again, last time I checked, you guys are humans. The last time I checked, our customers are humans. So like, there's a human aspect to it. So you need to write down, why would someone choose Madewell? Maybe they've told you why they've chose you, but like fundamentally, like, what is our competitive advantage? All right, so I have no idea what these are. I haven't read them yet, so let's think about these. And I don't think there's wrong or right answers here, but ultimately what we're trying to dive into is like, what about what we offer is practical? And then what about what we offer is like the emotional? Because at the end of the day, that's honestly how people will make their decisions. I think too much we get caught up in the practicality of what we're selling and not to like how somebody actually is making their decisions. So it takes a level of empathy and sympathy. So I think Andrew, you put this, because we are completely customer focused company from start to finish. Anybody disagree with that? Professionalism. Let's see, reputation, warranty, communication. And we got professional presentation, trust, customer service, and efficient. Are all of these things accomplishable during every quote for the most part? Yep. Right? They don't happen like, but it happens throughout the quote. I don't think any of this is new to you guys, but I would just encourage you guys before you even kind of start thinking about yourself, and today's about you guys, but there's a human aspect to your customers. It's kind of the rear view mirror is kind of the most, they don't really say that too much in life, but for this business in particular, the sales process, it's like focusing on your next estimate is a detriment to kind of what you need to be focused on, because the sales and the estimate that you've already completed is the job that you should focus on closing. And so the paranoia for like, well, I got an estimate at 2 and I had that one, I got time, is like, we've strategically limited your schedule to 2 estimates a day. It's not because we can't get you more, it's because we want you to have time to think and focus on what you've already accomplished. On your estimates, that's why you have time, right? Like getting there, if an estimate takes 20, 30 minutes, like very rarely under that scenario, you have not been there long enough. You don't want to drag it out, but you haven't allowed the human aspect. You show your car, they talk about what you want, you measure, you go to your car, you estimate it, and they say, hey, send that over, I'll let you know. If you've ever had trouble getting a hold of a customer after an estimate, it's because you serve no purpose to them. In fact, they probably don't even remember your name. From the human aspect, who you're selling to, your human nature, like they should know a lot about them. All of your regionals send an email out after everyone is seeing your quote estimates to your customer to make sure that obviously we took care of them. A little bit of sales enablement content. But we hear a lot from your customers. We don't always share that with you guys, but a lot of it's always, incredibly positive. It's funny because the emails that we get the most response for the managers in this room seem to be the girls that sell the most. It's like a customer like chooses the people who they like the most, right? Because let's be honest, you're probably going to be towards the higher end of cost, right? But also you got a lot of things working to your advantage. A lot of tools like ArcSight. You show up on time, like when they called to schedule an appointment, like they didn't hear a bobcat in the background or something crazy. Like it was easy to understand there was a time you guys showed up. So as you guys go to your estimates, even back tomorrow and through the rest of this week, like before you get out of the car, just remember yourself, this is a person. They're a little bit intimidated by me. Like as a contractor, like I'm intimidated when contractors come to my house to do stuff. Like there's this kind of wall I have, like they're gonna screw me over, or like they're not gonna talk to me enough, or like, they're gonna ask me questions that I already know the answer to, so I'm already kind of insecure. Like there is a wall up with all of your customers. No matter how cool or comfortable they are, unless you know this person, they're gonna be very uncomfortable. They don't choose us and choose you because they like you the most. Like I agree with that, but like I actually think that they choose us because they fear you the least, right? Like there always is some like intrepidation of being scared of like nothing's gonna happen. Especially with this project, they have no sense of perspective of it happening before, so they're gonna be very uncomfortable. So how you kind of lower that wall, and not to like make them love you, and if they invite you to Thanksgiving, like more power to you. But leaving there, like, do they remember your name? And is there like a point to like respond to you and kind of walk this dance of like trying to figure out who they're gonna use? So don't forget the human aspect of it. Like all this is great, but if you go into it like just another quote, your customers should know you and you should know them by name. The frustrating part about all that is you build rapport, you like them, and Has anybody had an amazing quote with a customer? It was like, maybe they even invited you to Thanksgiving, but like they don't use you? Hasn't that happened to me? So, all right, so let's kind of get that frustration out of there. Write down reasons why someone doesn't choose you. What kind of annoying excuses? What have you heard? Like, they haven't used you. Like, they either tell you no or whatever. Like, I'll go ahead and get this one out there. They didn't use you because you're the most expensive. All right. Cool, here you go. They didn't use you because you didn't answer the questions. That's reasonable. That's the trust part, like you don't answer it. Neighbors used someone else. It's funny, our company is set up so that we're happy if you fail 7 out of 10 times. You guys think about that? Like, I mean, that's Hall of Fame numbers, but like even when it comes to our business, like 30% closing is kind of like a standard that we need and that we hold you guys accountable. But like we're saying 7 out of 10 people, we go and do 10 quotes this week. Like if the first 7 like or yell at you, get mad at you until you never caught to, but the next 3 love you, we're actually really happy for you. So we're actually now trying to take all this information now and is actually find the opportunity to go 6 out of 10 don't want you. Like, we're not trying to get like this much better. Like, we're just trying to get this much better, okay? And to do that, we have to understand all the sales that we didn't win. Like, it's really easy to know, like, well, like I won that because they like me and we did their neighbor's job. Like, of course I should have sold that. It's really easy to sell the ones you will sell. The challenging part is to like understand these. The first part of this morning is to understand when this happens in a customer's mindset and how to like actually attack this much sooner. Because if you ever let it get to this point, it's very hard to sell that job, right? It's almost too late. So we're trying to catch it right before it gets here because everybody wants the chance to at least give their best chance to earn their business. Like it's kind of embarrassing like internally for you guys to like, great estimate, they love you. The next day you call them back like, hey, like I'm sorry, I'm going with somebody else. You're like, what? We just met, right? Or your regionals gets an email and like within hours of you doing the estimate, they're already getting a response back from the customer like, hey, like sorry, like you guys are a little bit more expensive, only like $600 more, so we're going with the other guy. Like that is like the thing that drives us crazy because the customer knew that information, but we never extracted that from them. So again, tomorrow is all about extracting information during that kind of golden period, write an estimate. All those frustrations that you see up here, they're real, but if you listen a little bit this morning and you just apply some of this and you stay coachable, a lot of this stuff you will see less and less happening. Again, we're going to say after today, it's okay to fail 6 out of 10 times. We're not trying to go like a 90% closing. Like, does anybody think it's ridiculously unreasonable to like just find 1 more out of 10 that you guys allowed or didn't allow or like somehow indirectly got this happen? Like, that would change the game. Like, we're talking 1 more sale per week for each of you guys. 1 more sale per week is over annually $500,000 out of 10,000. So we're saying 50 jobs, 10,000. Let's call it $500,000. What would $500,000 do in more sales for us as a company? We'll tell you. It's pretty impressive. Like allows us to do this kind of thing. But for you guys, like that's really what you care about. Let's be honest. Like run some math on that. For some of you guys, you're starting a family or buying a house. Like pretty big difference there. So over the course of a year, it will be death by paper cuts if you don't use what we're about to talking about. Because like you get this right half the time, that's 25 jobs, that's 250,000, or you just don't care and you're like you're kind of good, but like getting better is not important. That's like maybe you'll figure out to get like 10 more a year. Like we're looking for the guys and girls that go 1 a week is how you measure success. Because the ones that you're already selling, like I'm not going to ask you to stop doing anything that you're already doing. You're just going to do like slightly different, it's a little bit of perspective. Maybe it's just that attitude that you go into it with. So let's look at these. Review, I'm guessing like bad review or didn't have enough, right? That's possible, right? A lot of people that find bad reviews is like they're going to find the narrative that they want. I'm not going to say like these aren't legit ones, but to add context, like people will always find the narrative that they want to hear. Also, people lie to you. They're too afraid to say that they're just not doing it or they can't afford it, so they have good excuses. So there's that other human part of like they're also humans because they lie. Family friend, yeah, that's a tough one. I would bet you that when deciding to use a family friend, they're using you guys as bait, right? They're using you guys. They just want to make sure that their friend is somewhat competent and knows enough that it's in line. You're the sucker on that estimate, just letting you know. Could we have predicted that? No. But you might find that out during the estimate and really attack that head on. But if they're using you guys as comparison, like just go ahead and realize you're probably the sucker. It's going to happen, okay? Again, 6 out of 10 people, 6 out of 10 could all be suckers. But the 4 of the 10, we're just trying to focus on. Timeline, yeah, they're either too soon or too late, or like really they're indecisive sometimes. So money, Who's ever sold a job, lost a job because you're too expensive? Who's ever sold a job because they're actually the cheapest? Anybody ever heard that? People are unsure to ask their questions because they think their questions are dumb. And honestly, how you get the information from them is a lot determined on the questions that you ask them, which we're gonna get a lot of. I bet you after today that won't happen again. Lack of crew of equipment, yeah, sure, like uncontrollable. So, still want to get other quotes. If you were a customer buying a service or product, like, would you get other quotes? Okay, just remember that. Like, don't be frustrated when someone doesn't choose you right away or they're getting other quotes. Like, getting other quotes is a competitive advantage, not a negative. Again, it's how you perceive it, but also remember that you can use that to your advantage. That is going to happen. In fact, everybody does that. If they don't, they're kind of dumb. Found another company. They probably found it before they had you cover, but they decided to tell you after the fact, and you were kind of left hanging like I didn't have a chance, right? That's super frustrating. Using subcontractors, probably just like found a way to do it cheaper. Neighbor used someone else. Sure, that's possible. Again, 6 out of 10 people are gonna tell you this. Go and accept it, it's gonna happen. We're just trying to find the 4 out of 10. You're already doing the 3 out of 10, so we just need to get better like a little bit here. You're not gonna get worse today.